Hi folks, and welcome to episode 0, the introductory episode for Worth the Calories, a Great British Bake Off podcast. I'm Matthew Vose.
And I'm Catherine Vose.
I would do a Mandy K. Osway impression, but it probably wouldn't go down so well. Howdy, y'all.
my American impression is one big generic accent, so it's not going to work.
We are going to be doing a weekly episode about the Great British Bake Off show, TV series, much beloved. It starts in August in the UK and should run for some weeks. 10?
12? 10? A number of?
I think there's 12 bakers to start with, and it gets down to 3, so it must be 10 episodes.
10.
Let's go with 10. 10 plus maybe a Christmas episode. We are going to talk about, what are we going to talk about? Star bakers?
Star bakers, difficulty of the challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Are they achievable in one's own home kitchen?
Yeah.
Maybe, maybe not. Depends on your skill.
Is the challenge an actual challenge to bake it, or is it just you don't have quite enough time?
Yes.
Because there is definitely a mix. Sometimes they're actually hard. Sometimes it's just, no, it would take an extra hour to do this well.
How have they managed in this summer's heatwave in the tent?
Well, yeah, I'm quite interested to see, can we figure out exactly which weekend each one was done?
Yes.
Because if they're completely filmed, we'll have some from May probably. But I imagine if they're still filming, we will have a lot during the heat wave and then a lot during thunderstorms and downpours.
Let's hope they didn't choose to do the chocolate sculpting week. if there was a chocolate sculpting week right in the middle of the hottest days in the last 30 years.
Yeah. I think we want to definitely look at the technical challenges.
Yes.
I'm interested to try baking some of the technical challenges. What we might do is perhaps 2 episodes a week, one about the episode once, and then one when we've had a chance to do some baking. Mm-hmm. I'm quite a keen baker. I do like being in the kitchen doing desserts.
I'm a very experienced eater.
I was once asked if I like baking because, it's nice to do something creative and all this. It's like, no, I like eating good cake. So I like making good cake.
And it's interesting because to me, baking, there is a creative aspect to it, but there is also an aspect of you get the best results if you follow the rules exactly.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly. Which is why my baking's not necessarily my strongest suit.
But your cooking, your chef work, absolutely on point. So when we get to vegan week, maybe if they're doing pies or pasties, things like that they've done in the past, maybe I'll throw over to you. Probably worth having a comment on our title. Worth the Calories is actually Prue Leith, one of the new hosts. It's one of her phrases is having cake that is worth the calories, which I completely agree with. If you're going to eat something that is not that nutritious, not necessarily good for you, make it taste good, make it have good textures, good stuff going on with it. So I'm completely on board with that philosophy.
Me too, eat the good cake.
I think it's probably safe to say we've watched a lot of Bake Off in our time.
We have, but I think we were quite late to the party because I remember we basically binged probably like seasons 1 to 6 in one fell swoop.
I think it was 5 or 6 we came in.
Yes.
But then we bought all the previous ones and just watched them all and have been addicted to it ever since.
Yes,
yeah,
very much so.
What sort of things are we looking out for? Any bakers, any situations we're particularly keen on seeing?
I'm going to be interested to see if they throw in some of the stereotype bakers that they seem to have in the mix most years.
Yeah.
Are we going to have someone who is maybe above 50 and knows how to do the basics really, really well? But then as soon as they're asked to get creative or do something outside of the standard repertoire, falls apart and leaves in about week 3.
Yep.
Because that seems to have been a feature of many of the seasons.
Yep. The highly technical baker.
Yeah.
Yeah, the person who's really good, really intricate, but has no flair for design or style. And potentially that's the easier thing to learn to do well.
And maybe the younger baker who has got that innate sense of design, possibly flavour combination, but doesn't have the many years of practical experience, so falls down a little bit on some of the technicals.
Yeah.
And then there's someone who brings in like bits of metal from their garden to display their cakes.
The two I'm always keen to look out for, and these are the twos that we've seen in pretty much every season, are that person who brings stuff in, who starts gangbusters. They're doing amazing things and great flavours, and they start off so well, and they have nowhere to go to. And everyone catches them up and then surpasses them. And then on the other side, it's the people who are very good at what they do, but struggle for whatever reason, have 2 or 3 weeks where they're possibly not going through, it just doesn't quite come together, but they survive.
Yes.
And I think the learning experience is the best for the people in the show. I think those are the ones who generally come through really well. So I'm going to try to keep my eye out for them and pin my hopes on that kind of person.
I think I'm also going to look out for hardest working contestant.
Yeah?
Because every year, every season so far, there's been someone who seems to be able to do this on the weekends, do some practicing during the week, and also hold down what looks to be a rather challenging day job.
Yeah.
I'm just like, how do you have the hours in the day to manage your job as a consultant, anaesthetologist, or whatever,
right.
you know, and practice your cake?
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be good to see. We are hoping to be joined by Mandy on some of our weeks. So Mandy's our co-host for Pop Culture Deprived and also hosts Southern Fried Pop. She is a big Bake Off fan, but as an American, she hasn't seen the most recent series. I'm going to stick with the UK lingo on this one. And I think particularly it's always interesting for Mandy to find the differences between UK and American baking. I think as it's gone on, she's seen more and more, not even just what we call things and some of the expressions, but there's stuff that we do in Europe and on the continent that is completely different to anything they touch. So it'll be interesting to get that side of things, and especially because I'm hoping she will do the technical challenges as well without having seen the show. So getting that thing of actually is watching the show helpful, or does it just mean you focus on the detail rather than the big picture stuff?
It will be interesting seeing Mandy, or hearing about Mandy perhaps having a go at the recipes following this weekend, where I baked my first ever loaf of bread from an American recipe.
Okay.
So I spent half my time Googling what the different measurements and different temperatures and a couple of the ingredients were, so I could get the nearest equivalent from our supermarket and get our oven at the right temperature and stuff. It's like, we're so similar and yet so different.
Computer, how many grams is half a cup of poppy seeds?
Exactly, right? Yeah. Right? I'm like, how do you put butter in a cup and then get it out again?
We are expecting to release episodes on a Wednesday, so we will be watching the show, getting them out as soon as we can after that, and then we'll probably do follow-ups on what we bake during the week after that, maybe over the weekend, once we've had time to bake, and then eat it, and then have something else to take the flavour away. Because these could go...
I have faith in you, honey.
Okay, thanks. So I'm baking them all. But they could go to different degrees, I think, is probably the best way to say it.
If we've got time, we could both bake them.
Oh, that would be interesting. Not in the kitchen at the same time.
No, I'd kill you.
We might fall out, yeah.
I don't share my kitchen well.
A quick note, we have a wonderful theme tune. Our music is Cheery Monday by Kevin MacLeod. It's licensed under Creative Commons for attributions. You can find him at incompetech.com. That's incompetech.com. And I don't have an outro.
We could just put in a clip of me doing a little happy dance to Kevin's song.
Ooh, shaky bottom for cakes.
Yay! Cake, happy music, cake, biscuits.
Yes. Yeah, and it's hard with the Bake Off, isn't it? Because we talk about cake all the time, but this is biscuits, it's bread, it's sponges, it's ganache, it's everything. So it'll be really interesting to see. I've not looked at the weeks. The only one I've seen is Vegan Week because people have commented on it. But I think last year they did a wheat-free and gluten-free week. So they do interesting variations to normalise some of this stuff, which is fair.
Yeah, and I think of all of the sort of stuff that they've done so far, the only thing that I think I am never going to do that is the one where they stick shoe buns into a cornet or whatever it is to make it tower. I'm just like, that is never going to happen in my life.
Well, they did one using traditional methods one week. Oh, maybe last season or a couple of seasons ago. But it was all really old style of cooking, not using modern techniques and modern tools, which I just look at and go, no, there's a reason we invented, like, Teflon. Join us every Wednesday for Worth the Calories, where we will pick over the crumbs of the bakes. Hi folks, and welcome to this episode 0 for Worth the Calories. This is the best start for a podcast we've ever done.
Mwah.
I'm not editing this, you know that. Hi, folks, and well.